This is episode 2 of Conscious Parenting Lives, and it's called No More Tantrums and Meltdowns. Now, I know that's a pretty big statement to have no more. And being really honest, I don't actually believe that that's possible to never have a tantrum or a meltdown in all of your life. If you think about yourself, if you're an adult watching this, I bet you still feel big emotions. I bet you still feel overwhelmed. I bet you have what people would describe as a tantrum or a meltdown over things. And so, however, what I know can happen and that I help people do is dramatically reduce how often that happens. And because I help you learn ways of moving through your feelings rather than suppressing them. So, yeah. So I want you to think of self-regulation as a lifelong thing rather than a once and done thing. That's for your children and for you. So today I will be sharing with you the process that I created to help parents and professionals reduce tantrums and meltdowns with the children in their lives. I'll be sharing with you some of the results that parents and professionals got, and I'll also let you know how you can get support from me to go through that process yourself if you want, or if you want longer term support with me. So I will let you know that at the end for those that are interested. There's no pressure or hard sell. So you are in the right place if you have been experiencing tantrums with your child or the children in your life, tantrums, meltdowns, big emotions, things maybe escalating into getting physical, like pushing, hitting, kicking, that kind of thing, because this is the starting point. There are more skills that I share for dealing with that. I've got a session on what to do when things get physical, for instance. But this is where it starts. It starts with this part. And if you shout when you want to be calm and patient, it's also for you. So for those who don't know me, I'm Sarah Parks. I am a parenting and legacy coach, and I help people use gentle, conscious parenting skills to have those working in your life so that you can have a calmer, happier family life, so that you, if you're a professional, can support the children you work with or the families that you support with their children. So that's a little bit about me. So with tantrums and meltdowns, it's totally normal. It's totally normal to have big feelings, to get overwhelmed by them. Yeah, it's normal. So let's I think it's important to normalize that and know that there's nothing wrong with that. Because when we see it as being something wrong, we try to stop it happening. We try to push it down. We try to suppress our feelings or our children's feelings. We try to stop them. I'm sure you might have done this yourself, or you might have heard parents saying, "You're not upset, don't cry," those kind of things. And that, when we suppress feelings, it makes them bigger. And I know it feels totally counterintuitive, but when you allow them to be, you allow them to move through, you allow them to be expressed, you allow them to come out, they move through much more quickly. And so the skills that I support people with is to help you to do that. So I've talked about what I'll be covering. I've got my notes here to help me. So the process that I take people through is in 3 parts. So it is, first of all, it's about setting a goal, like knowing where you want to be. Like, what is your vision? How would you like your life with your children to be? What is your goal, right? And often for people, that's to have more harmony, or it might be to have a calmer, happier family life, or it might be to not shout at your children so much, right? What is your goal? What is the end result that you desire, right? And then the second part of the process is having awareness of where you are now. Like, what are the automatic reactions that you have when your child gets upset? So in my 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions course, that's where we start. We look at those automatic reactions, and I go into a depth on that in 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions. So number 1 was the goal. Number 2 was having the awareness of where you are right now. What are you struggling with? You know, yeah, what impact is that having? You know, so in terms of what you're struggling with, you might want to get a notebook, or use your phone to write notes, or open up a document if you're at your computer, and you know, take some notes with this. Like, do some of this work as you're watching, and you can, if you're watching the replay, you can always pause this and go and grab a notebook or a pen and paper. So write down, if you've got that, so write down how you want things to be, you know, that vision, that end result, and where you are now. Like, how many tantrums or meltdowns are you experiencing a day or in a week? Or yeah, are you or your children experiencing? You know, how often is this happening? And what exactly is happening? What does it look like? When does it happen? Is there a trigger that you've noticed, like something that regularly happens? Like, might be when you're trying to get out of the door in the morning, or it might be when you're dropping your child off at school or nursery, or you know, when it might be at bedtime, right? It might be around dinner time. Is there a trigger point? Write that down. And what is the impact? What is the impact of these tantrums, meltdowns, these big emotions that are happening? What is the impact? So just take a few moments to write down, how is that affecting your child? How is it affecting you? How is it affecting your family dynamic? You know, take a bit of time to look at this. Okay. So we've had the goal, right? And then we've got the awareness. I've just talked about the awareness. And then what I help people do is replace. So replace our automatic reactions and bring once we've brought consciousness to the awareness and consciousness to our automatic reactions, and we have those in place, we can replace those with skills, right? We can replace those defaults with new useful conscious parenting skills. And I've broken down those skills. I take people through those in 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, and I'll share with you what they are today. So, you know, so you've got everything that you need if you want to go and do this yourself, right? I'm breaking down for you exactly the process that I take people through and I do this with everyone, whether it's somebody who I'm working with for a week, like for 5 days in like a support series, or whether it is somebody I'm working with one-to-one over a year, whether it's somebody I'm working with for 3 months. You know, this is our starting point, because this is the foundation, right? This that I'm going through with you here is the foundations, and is a clear, simple process that you can go through that can dramatically reduce tantrums and meltdowns. So before I go through the process, I just want to let you know why I created this. So I had been working with families for many years in person, running groups and taking them through a curriculum of skills. that would take them, a curriculum skills, conscious parenting skills that I would use to help them change their family dynamics, to consciously parent, to get conscious parenting, gentle, conscious, positive, mindful, unconditional love, those kind of parenting skills working in their lives. Because people who come into my world want to parent in this kind of way, want to do things differently to the traditional punishment and rewards and traditional ways that we've been parenting for a long time. And things are shifting. There is a conscious shift happening in this realm and in so many areas of life. But one of the things that surprises me is how that old model still is the dominant one, still is the mainstream one, right? So in 2020, during the pandemic, I took my business from being in person to online. And when I was looking at, like, how can I help people at this really difficult time when everybody is trapped in their houses, right, with their children, trying to home educate them because they can't go to school, and everything has been magnified, that people were in this pressure cooker kind of situation. And I knew that the skills that I share would really help. And having these foundations in place, I knew would make life so much easier, so much calmer. And so I created 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions. Because when I was looking at, well, what is the biggest challenge, and it was, what came through was dealing with upset, dealing with tantrums and meltdowns, dealing with these big emotions, dealing with how everybody is feeling. And so I went through the core skills that I share with that lens, right? And discovered through that, as I took hundreds, over 1,000 people through this process, that I shared it with a lot of people, and the feedback that I was getting was very much that this process reduces tantrums and meltdowns for people, from, like, when people were experiencing them several times a day, it would reduce them right down to like a couple of times a week or even less, which is massive. It's a dramatic change. So let me tell you the process that I took people through. Okay. So, I'll take you through the 4 steps. Yeah, the 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, the process. So we would start with those 3: the goal, the awareness of where you are now was part of the first step, actually, and then replacing. So this is what we were replacing with. So the first one was caring connection. I'm just going to write that down here because I'd actually written something else on my notes. Caring connection, creating a caring connection between you and your child, returning to love, essentially. And the way, so how do we create the caring connection, is by using active listening. By listening. I mean, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? When we bring our attention, when we bring our listening to our child, it's like magic. It dramatically changes things. So that was the first one, the first step of the 4-step system, right? So creating that caring connection by actively listening. The second one was naming the feelings, helping them understand their feelings. So that was the second one. The third one I call wonderful wishes, which is about acknowledging their desires and their wishes. And then the 4th step was 4 magic words. And this one is all about helping them come to things in their own time. And by using these 4 magic words, that really helped them come to things in their own time. So those were the 4 steps. And what I did was deliver those in bite-sized pieces, like 5 minutes a day, because parents are busy. I know we're really busy. We've got so much going on, and the idea of doing a course can feel massive, can feel overwhelming. So what I did was delivered that in like a 5-minute video. So you had like a workbook and a 5-minute video each day. To be honest, some of them are like 3 minutes, but I wanted to do it in less than 5 minutes a day, so that people, so it helped people who had that mindset barrier of, I don't have time to make a change. So things that stop us from making a change is things like feeling like we don't have the time, feeling like we don't have the resources to do it, and also certainty that actually it's going to be worth spending your time to do it. It's actually going to be worth doing it, right? Yeah. So let me share some case studies with you of people who've recently gone through this process. So like I say, I've taken a lot of people through this process and got loads and loads of feedback and lots of testimonials from participants who've gone through this process, and, you know, it's helped them with their own children, and also professionals who have used the skills at work. You know, they're working like in a childcare setting, or they're a teacher, or you know, they're a doctor and they're a pediatrician working with clients in a consultation, like children in a consultation, or adults, actually, the parents, in all kinds of different settings. So so I had an early years specialist go through this process, and she had a little boy who was really getting really upset and really struggling when he was dropped off at nursery. And using that 4-part process, in fact, I think she only used like 3 of the steps, really helped him feel happier and more content at nursery. So that is huge, isn't it? I had a parent who their child self-settled for the first time, like went to sleep on their own and started a new phase in their sleep where they could fall asleep on their own. That is huge, because so many parents spend hours and hours trying to help their kids to sleep. So, you know, massive. And just in every kind of part of your day, if you think about your day, you can use these skills to help you get out in the morning, to help you around meal times. There was a mum around bath time who it was a nightmare getting a child into the bath, and then a nightmare trying to get them out because they wouldn't want to come out. And using these skills, their child went in the bath, no problems, and came out of the bath really easily. And so, you know, I mean, I can really feel that one as well, that the time and the upset, that with that gone, you've got more time, you know, to do things. You've got more time for your evening. You've got more time to you know, crack on with other things, rather than spending half an hour trying to get your child in the bath, you know. So I want to share some specific case studies. So, and I'll put the link to, because Gemma actually very kindly shared her experience when we were going through this process. And so there is actually a video of that testimonial, which I will share the link in the comments if you want to see that, her talk, if you want to hear her talking about her experience rather than me. But I will, you know, share what happened for her. So she has at the time of doing the course, she had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and she was experiencing several tantrums a day with them. And that reduced down to rarely. So within, like, over the 5 days, what happened was day one, she instead of having 2 or 3 tantrums in that day, they didn't have any. Day one, she used the first skill that I shared. She used that in 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, and they didn't have any. So that's such a dramatic change, and she was so shocked. And day 2, things went really well. Day 3, things went really well. And then day 4, one of her children had a tantrum, got really upset about something. And so she was like, oh, because the thing is, this isn't, like, I say, it's not a permanent kind of fix, because it's not, right? But what happened was, for her, right, was her child got upset. And however, she felt more confident and like she had a toolkit of skills to help her child move through that. And that's what happened. So although her child did still get upset, they're going to get upset, right? But the difference was, instead of not knowing how to handle it, instead of feeling really stressed, instead of it going on for ages, she was able to help them move through it, and had that confidence that she knows how to handle it, right? But what a change from several times a day to, like, once in 4 days. That's dramatic, isn't it? And so that was like 5 months ago. And somebody had asked for help with their child in a group, and lovely Gemma recommended me, and shared how they were all miserable, and now they've got this happier, calmer family life. Because what I love about this is that it's long lasting. Yes, your children's still going to get upset sometimes, but it doesn't go back to several times a day. It doesn't go back to there. That is massive. And it is a kind of long-term permanent change. So that's massively powerful. So on that same course, there was a lady, and I love this one because she, her name's Lynn, and she has 8 children, I believe, all different ages, from littlies right up to a child in their 20s. And she came to the support series because of her 14 and 15-year-old, they were, like, arguing quite a lot and what have you, and she wanted to see if it would help with that, and it did help with that. But there was a dramatic and unexpected result, and this is what happens often when people work with me. I often say there are going to be unexpected results. There always are when people work with me, particularly one-to-one. There are unexpected results, and so for this mom, she had an unexpected result with her 19-year-old who is autistic. Now, she didn't even put down as her goal that she wanted things to change with that child, because she didn't believe that they could change. She didn't believe that things could improve because they had always been this way. Her daughter had always had meltdowns, always had big emotions, and because she's autistic as well, that's how it had always been. Things were going along a pattern, and it had always been that way. And although it was tiring and exhausting, and the meltdowns would go on for hours, like an hour or more, it's just how it was. And what happened when Lynn used this 4-step process with her daughter, she was, I think it was on day 2, she was really blown away, because she only used 2 steps because we'd only gone through 2 steps by then. Her daughter didn't have a meltdown when she normally would. she'd got really upset about something that had happened at school. And, you know, Lynn was very clear that normally that would end up in a meltdown that would go on for a long time. And what happened was she was still upset, but the big meltdown didn't happen. And that is huge, because when I asked Lynn, well, you know, what normally you know, how long is it? And she's like, it's always been that way. And her daughter's 19. So that's huge, isn't it? That is huge. And I checked in with Lynn to see, you know, a few months later, how are things? And she said they're still going really well. And so now I'm not an expert in autism. I'm not an expert in ADHD. I am not an expert in neurodivergent brains at all. However, what I do know is I have worked with parents who have children who have ADHD, who have autism, or not have autism, who are autistic, and they have had great results with using these skills. And the reason I think the reason for this is these conscious parenting skills are about meeting your child where they are. They're about accepting your child for who they are, and they're about accepting yourself for who you are. So everybody has freedom to authentically be themselves and feel love, feel connection, feel seen, feel heard, feel understood. That's what we're providing with these skills. We're providing that empathy so our children feel seen, feel heard, feel understood, feel that there's somebody who gets them, feels that we are on their side, we are their advocate, we're there for them, and we love them. That's what we're providing here. And I feel quite moved by that, actually. And this process shows you how to do that and breaks it down into steps so that you can learn how to do it. So that the other person in your life, whether that's your child, whether that's somebody you work with, whether that's your partner, whether it's a work colleague, because these skills, yes, I'm very much honing in on tantrums and meltdowns and using them in that situation, but they're for all of life. And they are the foundation of incredible communication skills. So, I've given you an example. You know, I didn't mention earlier about what age is this even for. So the age that this is for is all of the ages, right? So you can use this with toddlers, you can use this with children, you know, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, you can use it with tweens, 8 to, you know, 12-year-olds, you can use it for teenagers, you can use it with your children in their 20s, right? So you can use it, that the skills don't change. How you use them and the problems that you're experiencing, they can shift and change. So I supported a mum whose daughter was at university and was really struggling and was even kind of having suicidal thoughts, and yeah, really, really tricky. And her mum was trying to support her at a distance. I shared this process with her. She used the process and it really helped her. It really helped her daughter. And the dissertation that she was you know, trying to get done and really struggling with, managed to support her through that. And she did that, and she got a really amazing grade. So it works at different ages, you know. So like there's a lady who is in my conscious parenting mastermind. So she did 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, and then she joined my mastermind, which is a group setting for people who want to ongoingly be using conscious and gentle parenting approaches in your life, and you want to spend time, because yes, things can change in a short period of time. For some people it can take longer, like the mum that I was thinking of whose son has ADHD. Yes, she did see changes, and that took longer. It took more skills, learning a wider curriculum. And with her, it was from kind of 7 weeks onwards, she saw significant changes. So it took a little bit more time. Her son was he would have big feelings and would smash up his room, and it was a difficult situation. So, you know, the Conscious Parenting Mastermind is a better place for support over a longer period of time. And this mum, Shira, who's in the mastermind, she would, I believe her children are 9 and 12. She's got 3, but the 2 of them, 9 and 12-year-olds, are in that kind of tween kind of age where they're not teenagers yet, and they're not really little, but they're bigger, you know, that tween age group. And the other day she was struggling with a difficult situation, you know, and her child had a big upset and had kicked car tire and, you know, had lashed out. Now, her child was lashing out quite frequently before, you know, like every day something would happen. And when we went through 4 steps to help your child manage that big emotions, that are reduced. So I said to her, because I think she was worried it would go back to how it was, to several times a day, right? And when I asked her, well, when was the last time that happened? And she said, well, when I did 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, you know, just before then. And again, that was like 4 or 5 months. So that's massive, isn't it? That's a massive change. So what's on offer from this process is long-lasting, life-changing results. That's what's available from doing this. So what my question to you today is, what difference would that make to you? What difference would it make to your time? What difference would it make to your energy? You know, what difference would it make to your enjoyment of being a parent? You know, just thinking back to Gemma saying we were all miserable, you know. What difference would it make to your sense of love and connection with your child? So just to have a think about what difference that would make to you, because I believe that there's no need for anybody to be stark and to be struggling with this. Like, there's a solution right here that is easy to access. It doesn't take a lot of time to do. It's for the transformation that you get, it's really affordable. So let me tell you about 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions now, for those who might want to use this process, learn this process, and have support to do that. I have a managing emotions bundle, I call it, where you get 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions, and you get 2 laser coaching sessions with me. So you get a session, a 30-minute session at the beginning to help you with that goal part, the awareness part, and the plan, like where you're going to use this, what you're going to hone in for the biggest impact, you know, over, you know, you'd want to do this over a week. And when I say a week, I'm talking about, you know, setting aside like 10 minutes a day, you know, 5 minutes to watch the video and a few minutes to think about it. But it's very practical and action orientated. You learn the skill, you go do it, you go use it straight away. That's how 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions works. So you get that, you get a coaching session at the beginning, and then you get another coaching session to help answer any questions, to tweak things, to review how things have gone, and to support you with your next steps. So that is what you get from the Managing Emotions bundle. And that is usually £147. However, for people who've watched this and you want to do this, you get a 50% discount. So it makes it £97, which, you know, is a crazy investment, really, because it's so small for what you get for it. And I know, you know, people spend more on a pair of trainers, right? And this is a life-changing process that you get here. So yeah, so that's what is available for you for those who want support. Now, if you're somebody who's thinking, I feel like I need more support than that, there is an option to work with me 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 with a partner, and I prefer to do that over like a 12-month period. I've got a couple of options with that over a 12-month period. And for those who feel 12 months is too long, we can talk about a shorter time frame as well. So that's, but 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 is also available. If you are wanting to find out, if you're interested in working with me 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, then book a compatibility call. I'll put the link in here to book a clarity call, and we can have a conversation about the support that I can offer you. But I want to leave you with this. If you're in that place where you're thinking, I don't know if things can change for me, it's too late, if your children are older, or, you know, wherever you are, I want you to know it's never too late to change things, and that it can change, even if, you know, there are really valid reasons why things are difficult, why things are that way. You know, even if your child you know, has a neurodivergent brain, so, you know, the makeup of their brain is not going to change. How you respond to them can change, and that is powerful. That is so powerful, and it is empowering for you and for them. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Thank you for watching this Conscious Parenting Lives session, all about no more tantrums and meltdowns. I will be doing another session next week, so tune in for that. And there is also in this playlist, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get notifications of when these episodes are coming out, and also get my shorter tips, you know, because I do little 5-minute ones as well, so you can see those. And also for you to see I did the first one that I did. I'm just trying to remember. Oh, it's working from home with kids. So if you're working from home with children, then check that one out as well. All right then, my loves, have a great week, and all the links are below if you're wanting further support.